And I'd say, Mom, why is everybody looking at me? And I was just very stressed out. Everywhere I go, everyone's always looking at me. And she goes, baby, it's because you're beautiful. And I was like, oh, is that right? And since then, I have zero stress with people looking at me.
I really want to thank you for taking the time to be here this morning.
No, thank you. I was so excited to come here and be on your podcast. I've been watching your podcast, and like, there's so many different types of people and different like subjects. And I was like, I'm a singer. Am I gonna fit into this podcast?
I just showed you one of the singers, one of the persons that sings.
Mm.
And who else do I have? Do I have any other singers? I have two people that play saxophone. And one of them sings. The other one started to sing, but she's very popular on the sax.
Nice.
And the other guy, Glenn, is a singer.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's been on twice, and he said that he wants to come on again, which I always love my people to come back. Yeah. But I'm so happy. You know why? This is number 200.
200.
200 episodes. Yay! Thank you so much. And I couldn't have had a better person on here. I mean, all my people are fantastic, I must say. Everyone, all of you that have gone on here on the podcast, thank you so much. There's no way I could have done this if it weren't for all of you. And for all of you that are to come, I hope we make it up another 200 and keep on going. Aisha, again, I want to thank you. You said we should talk about the fact that you went to school with my son.
Yeah.
So they went to school with you. And
Louis and Lance and
That's right. You didn't know Lonnie and Lucian, but you probably met Lonnie later.
I've definitely seen him around school, but I've never had like
Well, they weren't at school. They didn't go to that school. They went to YS.
YS, yeah.
Yeah.
So we all started off in St. Maur together?
St. Maur,
And then we transferred to YS. Oh.
You went to YS?
Yeah, I transferred for my junior and my senior year because St. Maur wouldn't let me like model and wouldn't let me like do my singing career stuff and so.
And you forgot all about the time you did the talent show.
I was in I guess.
That was a talent show at St. Maur.
Yeah.
I watched you.
I don't remember. I was in all the choirs and we would perform a lot in choir.
Right.
I guess I was in talent shows.
No, you were. There was a talent show, and I think.
Yeah.
I know you got up and you sang while they did their breakdancing or whatever.
The boys did their
Yes.
So we performed together. Do they remember that?
I think they do.
Yeah?
I'm sure they do.
I'm going to text Louis and Lance and be like,
ask Lance and Louis, and I'm pretty sure they did a break dance and something together. If I'm wrong, they'll take it back. And I don't know if I recorded it, I'm going to try to find it.
Yeah, I really want to see. I'm nervous though. Like I'm good now, but back then.
There you go.
I was all right.
That's what I like to hear. I'm good now. That's what I'm talking about. Where were you born, Aisha?
I was born in Yokohama. Yeah.
Is that what you say, Aisha Yokohama?
Yeah, so Yokohama, Aisha Yokohama.
Because that isn't your last name.
No, it's not. It's Aisha Lari.
Right.
Or like my Instagram name is Aisha Dayo, which in Japanese means Aisha Dayo, like I am Aisha.
Right.
And every time I go to America, everyone's like, is Dayo your last name? And no, it's not.
So you go frequently between the two?
Yeah, I go. Before Corona, I used to go a lot more often, but I actually just went like a few months ago to LA.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had such a good time.
Now, when you were growing up, you grew up where? Where were you born?
I grew up in, since I was in elementary school, I was in St. Maur.
You never went to Japanese school?
Like kindergarten?
Hoikuen or something like that?
Yeah, I went to Japanese one and like, my parents tried to make me go to Japanese school, elementary school, but being different and being different looking, I was picked on a lot. And so they were
remember
like,
this?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
And so my parents were like, oh, we can't take her to a Japanese school because she'll have a horrible time. And so that's why I went to an international school.
What about your brother?
My brother went to St. Mary's.
So he never went to Japanese school?
Probably not. I only went for like half a year though. I didn't go for a long time.
Because he's 3 years and a little bit older than you.
Yes, he is.
Are you guys close?
Very close. Willie is my homie. He's my bestie. He comes to my shows.
Do you guys look the same? Do you guys look similar?
Yeah. like a few days ago, I had an event with J-Wave and DJ Taro, and my brother came to see. And when people were like, "Oh, can we take your picture?" and I was like, "Oh, that's my brother," and everyone's like, "Y'all look the same."
They did. They said,
Yeah,
Is he? How much taller than you is he?
He's 180. Do you know centimeters?
Yes, of course.
185.
Oh, so he's taller than me. He's like
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
a
6'1" or
big
6'2".
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he heavy
But he's
too, or is he
shy.
tight?
No, he's slender. He used to like model for like Uniqlo and lots of like Japanese brands, be in magazines and stuff. He's a
Right.
pretty boy.
Did he get married? Is he married yet?
Not yet. Almost.
But almost.
I'm kidding. I have no clue.
Okay. What about yourself?
I'm single for now.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Is that something you want to do someday, you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I think as a singer, it's difficult to figure out when you want to like settle down because you're always like moving around, traveling all the time, going to places and like focusing on your career. But yeah, for sure, definitely one day I'd love to.
Is that right? Do you want to have kids too?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I just can't imagine working and having kids at the same time. I don't know how people balance that, like as a woman especially, but I think I'd love to one day.
Is that right? Where would you live? Do you think you'd live here in the States?
That's a difficult subject because like work-wise, I really want to go to America.
Well, why do you want to go to America work-wise?
So I was signed to Sony Music when I was 16 years old, and so I never had the chance to live in America because for college I had to stay in Japan because I had to work, and it was a dream come true, obviously. I'm very thankful, but I've never ever lived in America before, and I've always wanted. My brother has, my cousin has, you know, everybody in my family has, and my friends
Your
have.
mother's lived in America?
My mom has never lived in America.
Okay, you see, that's what I'm saying. I'm including everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've always wanted to, so, yeah.
So you want to do that. Are you still with Sony?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who
I
are you with
started.
now?
Right now, I'm with an independent label, and I've been in the same agency called Dynamics. Yeah, since I was 16.
So Sony had you through there. They had you in the same agency.
No. I started off with Dynamics agency, and they took me to all these different record labels, and I got into every single record label in Japan, and we chose Sony because they had the best to offer, best deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long was that deal?
That a lot, 5 years. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But no, not 5 years. So I was signed at 16, but I wasn't ready to like perform yet, and I wasn't, so they had to like teach me how to perform and sing and dance. And so when I was 20, is the first time that I released like a full album. Yeah. From then on, 5 years. So pretty long, like 10 years-ish. Yeah.
Okay. Let's take you back to elementary school. When you were in elementary school, what kind of child were you? Were you more academic or were you more sports-minded?
Well, so I started off in St. Maur. St. Maur is a difficult school the education is very difficult. Like everybody's like a nerd there. Yeah, I mean that as a compliment. And so I had to really study and make sure my grades were good because I mean the school is expensive and I have to make it worth it. So I was like a decent student, but sports-wise, I played basketball from elementary, middle school, and high school.
What did you like the most?
Yeah.
Did you like the academic? Well, you didn't have a choice academically
Yeah.
because the school just forced you to do that.
Yeah.
But sports-wise, were you really into it?
I loved it. I loved after school being able to play basketball with the people that I'm close with, going to tournaments with everybody. It was an experience. Yeah.
So when did music get into your life, or
When I was in first grade, I joined a choir for the first time, and there was the choir teacher was a black woman called Mrs. Bridgewater.
I know her.
Yeah.
And her sister.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Yeah,
She has a
Cheryl.
twin sister.
Yeah.
Yes. Beryl and Cheryl.
Yeah. And so when I was in choir, first grade, I was singing with the whole crew, whole group. And then she was walking past. She stopped. She looked at me. She said, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can sing. And so she told me that I have like a really good voice and I should do something with it. And she was the one that really guided me, through singing, and she taught me how to sing better. We had like one-on-one classes, and she taught me to like perform. And
Cheryl's the one that got you started.
yeah, she is the one, definitely.
She's still there, isn't she? Still there?
Or
she's doing
she
something
went to
independent?
Thailand for a bit. I think she came back to Japan.
Because you know her sister was my English teacher at Temple.
No way.
I took a class there at Temple.
Wait, you're not.
I was
fluent in
I was way over that age. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, we're the same age.
Yeah.
Both me, Cheryl, and Beryl are the same
Wow.
age. But she said, "Don't you tell anybody in here how old I am." 'Cause I was in her class. I took a
Nice.
semester with her. I sure did.
Nice.
Just to go on when they had Temple over here, right off Sakura Dore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when they were in that office building there. I think
Oh,
that's
the
when you,
old
that's where
one.
you went. That's where you
Yeah,
went.
the new one looks
That's
really
right.
nice. I'm so angry that I wasn't.
You missed it.
Yeah, so angry. It looks really. Have you been to the new one?
No, I haven't.
It's so nice.
And I
You-
haven't
you
been
need
to the new YS. I haven't been to that.
I haven't either. The one it moved to Honmoku.
It sure did.
I can't believe it moved to Honmoku.
Can you believe it?
It was so far from the station. It's so
It is.
inconvenient for the kids.
It is. It is. It is. So anyway, so growing up, were you and your brother growing up? You remember doing a lot of stuff with your brother? Is he
With
into
my
music?
brother. So whenever my mom would drive me and my brother to school when we were younger, I'd be always singing in the car, and my brother would always harmonize to me singing. And so I didn't know how to harmonize until Willie, my brother's name's William, until Willie started harmonizing on me, and that's how I learned to like harmonize. My brother would always do like a beautiful harmony on whatever I sang. So he has like perfect pitch.
Is that right?
Yeah, he sounds great.
And he plays no instruments or doesn't do anything, or does he?
No, I think he used to play something in like high school or something.
Okay.
But yeah, he's. Yeah.
Tell me about Dad. Where was Dad in the
My
picture?
dad, yeah, my dad. He was an amazing musician, trombonist.
He's still with us, right?
He lives in America right now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, oh, he's alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're making it sound like he was and this.
He doesn't perform anymore, so that's what it meant. Yeah.
Right, right.
But he was a very famous, very amazing trombonist, and he toured with like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Confunction, like the most famous people in America. They toured with, and he's in the ongen recordings as well. And then after that, he had an opportunity to be a trombonist at Disneyland in Tokyo. And my mom was a singer and dance, can girl and singer in Disneyland. And that's how they met.
So you had Cheryl helped you to sing. She started to push you through.
Yes.
Then what happened?
And then, so when I was like 12, 13 years old, my mom wanted to take me to a, I don't know, dosokai in English. I don't know what you call it. A gathering of students.
Okay.
A student gathering when she was in high school or something, college. There was a gathering for her friends, and she brought me, and it was at a bar. I was too young. I was at a bar with a stage, and it was Christmas time. And I went to the bartender, like, can I sing a Christmas song? And so I went on stage, I took the microphone, and I started singing, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. And I sang the Christmas song.
Right.
And then this crowd was loud. Everybody was drunk, but people stopped and they all listened to my Christmas song. My now boss of the agency was in that crowd. I was signed to his agency, and he took me to all the record labels in Japan, and he got me to sign with Sony Music.
How did you do that? What made you decide?
I don't know. All the most famous musicians and singers are all from Sony, so I always looked up to Sony and BMG, and
Right. So when you saw that, you said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this." All right. So after that, what happened from then?
After that, so I was signed to Sony Music when I was like 16, I think, and then for 4 years, they gave me like singing lessons and dancing lessons, vocal training, and I learned to perform a lot better. And at 20, I released my first major album. Do you know Run DMC? Yeah?
Yes.
My first song was featuring DMC from Run DMC. And we performed together at Central Park in New York. And you know that song, Walk This Way, Talk This Way? We did that together, and I sang Aerosmith's part. And that was like one of the, first major performances that I ever did. So I was shaking. I couldn't hold the mic.
Tell me this, Aisha, what was the most, what would you consider to be some of the hardest things? If let's say you're going to talk to your child.
My child, okay.
Let's say you have a child, you have a little girl, and she's going on the path that you went on. Mm-hmm. What would you start to prepare her for? What is she going to run into?
Okay, when you're on stage, when you're performing, when you see the crowd's reaction, if they look stiff or if they look like they're not having a good time, don't let that get to you. Because sometimes, like for example, after my show, sometimes I'll see someone like really like glare at me or not look like they're not having fun at all. But after the show, they come running to me and they tell the same person that was glaring and looked like they're not having a good time, come up to me and they're like, that was the best show I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, I thought you hated it. So sometimes you can't read someone's vibe or how someone reacts to your performance. Like, especially in Japan, some people just like open their mouth and just like, they stare at you and you're like, oh, they hate it. But so you can't judge how someone feels. So you just have to do your best and try to get them to enjoy the performance and your singing or whatever. So don't freak out by the audience's reaction. Just give it your best, enjoy it, have fun, and if you're having fun, they're gonna have fun too.
Have you ever had a time when you got up there and it just...
Of course.
Deer in headlights?
Yeah. For example, every year I perform with a very famous jazz band called Jazztronic, and we perform at Billboard, Tokyo, and Osaka, and we tour Japan. And I've done it for a few years now, so I'm a little more used to it. But the first year that we did it together, oh God, when you're on stage and when the spotlight is hitting you, it's so bright that you can't see anyone in the audience. And it's so bright that you kind of like, you get lightheaded. It's burning hot on stage. It's like, it's a lot to deal with, And on top of that, you have all these difficult songs that you have to learn, memorize, and sing and perform. And you can't look like it's difficult. You have to look like it's easy, I got this. Are you having fun, So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna faint on stage, or like I forget my lyrics, but I can't let anybody know that I'm freaking out. So when there's been a time when you've forgot a lyric, how did you cover it? It depends. Sometimes if I've completely forgotten it during a song, I might freeze for a second, but I'll be like, so are you guys having fun tonight? Like, how are you feeling? Let me hear you say, oh, and then once I can remember it back, I can go back to the song.
Got you.
How
long does it take for you to remember, to learn a song?
How I memorize lyrics is I picture what is happening in the song, or like if I'm singing, the sun will rise, I will picture a sun, and move my hands, gesture, the sun will rise, and like put my hands up as if the sun is actually rising. And that's how I memorize my lyrics, by gestures. Yeah, like I woke up alone in my beautiful home. Don't think about you no more. I'm getting better every day. I use my hands. I don't think about you. I'm getting better every day.
You got it. Yeah.
And so that's how I memorize my lyrics.
Okay.
By telling by gesture. I kind of lead myself to the direction of the lyrics.
When did you start to know that you had vibrato? Because is that important for a singer?
Yeah, for sure. I don't really focus on whether or not I have vibrato. I just focus on whether I sound good.
Getting the pitch and everything else.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, is there anything you do like to prepare, like for your voice, or what about care and stuff? Because your voice is your
instrument. Yeah.
That's right.
I used to take vocal lessons regularly, but I kind of already know how to warm up my voice. And for example, if my voice is very raspy on a day that I have to sing, I'll start humming. Just by humming, you can get your vocal cords like relaxed and sound better just by humming. and you have to hum while you're in the bath. It really helps. It makes a difference for me.
Makes a big difference.
Or if I'm recording in the studio for hours and hours and hours, and my voice is drying out, I'll go to the convenience store and I'll buy famichiki chicken.
Famichiki, okay.
Yeah, from the convenience store. And once I eat chicken, the oil, the grease, it fixes my voice.
Lubricates your voice or
yeah,
whatever, your
and I can
esophagus.
hit notes again.
That's interesting.
I thought it was just me, but lots of the other singers say the same thing.
Oh, so you talked to some people and they told you, they said that's their technique.
It's like, what do you do when your voice is messed up? We're like, I eat chicken. I was like, I eat chicken.
And they say for the same reason, the oil
yeah,
content.
it just does it. Or if it's really bad, Red Bull.
But isn't that dangerous though? Because so much sugar.
Yeah, when I drink Red Bull.
Doesn't that give you a high?
Yeah, but it helps when you're in the studio for hours in a closed environment with no windows, no air flowing through. It's just like it's very difficult to keep your focus, keep your attention there. And so when you drink Red Bull, you get a little high, and you're like, "I got this, let's do it!" And like you kind of need that energy boost. So Red Bull, thank you. My friend works at Red Bull.
Is that right?
Yeah, we went to college together too. John, I think your kids
because
might know him.
Lance did some stuff with Red Bull before
yeah?
too.
Oh.
No, he knew some of the girls that were in those. You remember they used to drive those Mini
yeah.
They had with the big Red Bull on it
so
when they first came out. Mm-hmm. When's the longest recording you've ever had to do? I mean, practice sessions. Or which ones do you dread? How long would that be?
The worst recordings I've ever had was while I was in college, while I was going to Temple University. So my schedule was insane. So I would be going to school. Right after school, I'd go straight to the studio, and we'll be recording till 1 a.m. And then I go home, I study for my exams, and then I go to school, I take my exams. I go to the library, I sleep for an hour, and then I go back to class. It was just like, it was the worst experience of my life.
How long did that last? The whole time
For
while you were in college?
For a very long time.
The 4 years you were at Temple?
Yeah, not every day, but
understand.
Weeks at a time, that would happen regularly.
Did it ever make you feel like, look, maybe I should get a job in administration or something?
My dream was to be a singer for so long as a teenager. And so me getting closer to that dream, that goal, made me so happy, and it was so, like a dream come true, experience. So I loved it, but it was extremely stressful. And I didn't want to go to college. I was like, I already have a job planned out for me. Why do I have to go to college for? But my mom was like, you were going to college. You never know what's going to happen. You're going to college. I was like, fine.
What did you graduate with? What kind of degree?
Journalism.
So you like to write?
Yeah. I just wanted to do something that was completely different from music. And I learned how to interview people, how to make documentaries, how to edit videos on Final Cut. It was really cool. Yeah, it was a great experience.
So out of the things you've done so far in your career, because it's been over 10 years, 15 years? 15 years? 10 years. 10 years, just say 10 years.
Official debut from 20, so like almost 10 years, yeah.
Almost 12 years now,
yeah.
20. So 12 years, yeah. Give me some of the highlights. What are the 3 things you'd say, wow, during that time, these are things that I remember, boom, boom, and boom?
The first one would be the first time I sold out my own headliner show. I had a show at Shibuya WWW, which is like a really nice venue in Shibuya.
You know how many seats?
Like 500.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was my first time. And, I had no clue if anyone was going to show up. I didn't know who was listening to my music, how many people were listening, who was going to come to my show. And I was very nervous. And the staff were like, if you don't sell this out, like, it's all your responsibility. Like, they were really pressuring me too. And so they kept asking, like, can you handle it? Can you do it? And I was like, I think so. I don't know. But I was, like, very nervous. But when I did the show, it was completely packed, and there was about like 100 people standing outside the venue watching the show through a screen because they wanted to see the show. And so that gave me a lot of confidence. Oh, I'm doing the right thing, or like people enjoy what I'm making. Like I felt like, oh, I have strong purpose now because.
How old were you at that time?
Oh God, 20.
Oh, you were in your 20s. Okay.
Yeah, because I released my first album at 20. So
Okay.
anything I've done as a singer, career-wise, has
been
been in my 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the first time.
Yeah, it was the first time. The first time is like the most nerve-wracking, and the day before I couldn't sleep. I was panicking. I didn't know if anyone was gonna show up, you know, and am I gonna sing well? Is there people gonna enjoy it? But it was great. Yeah, it was the best experience ever. And when I was singing on stage, when I would turn the microphone, hundreds of people are singing my lyrics, and I was like, wow. This is something that I've been dreaming of since I was like a little girl, and so it was just an amazing experience for me. Yeah.
That's one, two.
Yeah, second one.
I'm not letting you in on that.
So my parents met at Disneyland.
Yes.
And so when I was a kid, we'd go to Disneyland all the time, and so I've always wanted to work with Disney, and it was like a dream of mine, but I never had the opportunity. But in 2019. They chose me to sing for the Disney Orchestra tour, and I sang like 3 locations. I think it was like Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. Yeah, 3 locations, and I toured with the Disney Orchestra, and I sang all of the famous Disney songs like Ariel, I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing. Like all these, all the Disney songs that I loved as a kid. And I got to wear this beautiful dress and perform. And that was a dream come true for me.
You're the only singer?
Yeah, me, the girl was only me and another man for the duets. Yeah. We'd sing the Cinderella song. So this is love, so this is love, so this. Okay. But yeah, and we'd harmonize together, and it was, singing with Prince Charming was really nice too.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's 2.
2. Okay, my third one. My third one. Okay, so do you know what Zumba is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the girl that actually brought it over, but she didn't get credit for it.
Oh.
For the guy, and he gave it to someone else.
Oh my, okay.
The Zumba, yes.
So I make songs for Zumba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad you didn't know earlier.
Yeah. And so I made this song for Zumba, and the owner of Zumba, Beto Perez, really liked it. He's like, come to America, perform with us, and let's do recordings, let's shoot your music video in America. And I was like, okay. At the time, I didn't really know about Zumba. So I was like, it was like a dancing thing, okay, whatever, let's do it. I went, and Zumba is huge in America. Like, it's crazy.
Even now?
Even now, not just America, Europe, Japan is
it's starting
getting
to go down
a little, yeah,
because it's faddish, yeah.
Yeah, but so they brought me to Orlando in Florida. Huge conventions. They rented out all the Hilton hotels and like 3-4 hotels, the biggest hotels in the area, and they rented out this huge convention hall center where like Shakira, Bruno Mars, like all these very famous people perform at. Timbaland, the DJ, yeah. Timbaland performed before me.
The same day, or
on the same day, like I right after Timbaland's performance.
Why would you?
I know, it's crazy, and so how.
Wait, he was doing this for Zumba too?
Yeah.
So Zumba brought out some heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry for the show, huge show. And the stage, how I got on stage was like, how Michael Jackson popped up from the bottom? That's how I got on stage. But I was like, I'm from Japan. No one's going to know me. What is the point of this? But they made me do it anyway, so I popped up. And the whole crowd went nuts. Every single person knew my song. And thousands of people, it's like a crazy view. Thousands of people do the same choreography to my song. I've never seen anything like it. It was an intense experience. And after the show, for like 2 hours, people were standing in line waiting for autographs and like pictures together. And so yeah, working with Zumba was an amazing experience for me too. Yeah, it gave me a chance to perform in America, make, you know, English songs, and I didn't know that I could do that. So it made me have a chance to be more international, which is great, you know, because I'm from little tiny Japan. So.
But how do you feel when you're walking around Japan? Do people, I'm sure people recognize you.
Yeah.
What's your response when they do? What happens here when people recognize you?
How do I react?
Yeah.
I say, do you want to take a picture? Like, you know, if sometimes someone will be like, oh, my girlfriend is a huge fan. I'll be like, turn your camera on. Hey, girlfriend, hi, send this to her. You know, we'll take pictures or I'll sign something.
You never felt the time when you felt like it was a little bit too much?
Anyone that likes my music and enjoys it, it makes me so happy. It's like, oh, I'm so happy that it's touched so many people. Like, do you know TikTok, the app? So my songs have blown up on that app. And so there's like hundreds and hundreds of videos of like high schoolers or like, you know, kids like dancing to my songs and stuff. And so whenever I perform that song, like kids run from every direction to see my show.
Do you benefit from that? I mean, financially in any way?
Do I from TikTok? Well, because of TikTok, my YouTube plays and my streaming on like Spotify, Apple Music, all of them have gone way higher. So in the end, I have benefited.
I see.
Yeah.
So not directly from TikTok,
Yeah,
but as a
but
result of it. That's like it's like advertising.
Basically.
Let me ask you this, Aisha. So when you do that on TikTok, so your other stuff going up, what was it before it started to blow up? I mean, what were you basically averaging before you saw it go?
So my stuff blew up through TikTok. Before that, I didn't really have a blow up, but people that were like, oh, because I performed with DMC and I also, you know, Guru from Gangstar, we like toured together and we performed at Billboard Music and so people that were really into hip hop or really into like black music in Japan were, really came to my shows and like bought my music and stuff. But once I made more pop music, so during Sony I was making more R&B music, but after I switched from Sony, I made more pop music, more like easy listening, like easy to dance to, listen to, stuff that you'd want to sing at a karaoke. And so since then my stuff blew up. So
what were the numbers? Were you in the hundreds of thousands before that?
So
or were you in the
my song, I have a song called Shy Demo Iyo.
Yes, I know that song.
Yeah, do you?
I do.
So that song on YouTube has 7 million views.
Right.
And the streaming on Spotify only has, I think, 3 million-ish.
Okay. What I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
40 people might look at it, or 40 views, and then if it gets to the hundreds, whoa, we've gone viral. That's how you know, viral. And Lance is dead.
Yeah.
You have to work hard to only get 100 people watch your stuff. And it being sarcastic, basically, you're not even there yet. He said, when you blow up, it'll be in the hundreds of thousands. You'll hit 1 million, and it won't take a long time. That's when people start watching your thing. He said, Dad, get AISHA on, and you'll see what viral is. That's what he told me. So
really?
I'm going to see.
Is that Louis or Lance?
Lance.
Lance?
Lance is my oldest, so I talk with Lance all the time.
I wanted to see him. I was wondering if he'd be around today. Was he not?
He's not here now.
Yeah.
We can work. I mean, I'm sure you guys all know each other.
Yeah,
so
but I don't know.
Because I wrote him after you told me that our communication got mixed up because I don't use Line so much.
Line.
And I said, Lance, her stuff has disappeared.
No, it hasn't.
And I said, it has disappeared. So I'm thinking maybe I just said, no, you're not going to go on his YouTube site. That's so itty bitty. No.
Oh, no,
I know. He said, you know what he said? He said, Dad, that's not AISHA. She's not like that. And I said, okay. I don't think it's her. I think it's her could be her agents. They've invested a lot of money in her. They're not going to just let her do anything.
No, I can do whatever I want.
Obviously. Obviously you're doing this. No. But this is something that's a work for me, a passion. And I'm happy when I can get the kind of people like yourself and other people that I get on here. I'm just so happy that people are willing to come on this podcast and share their lives with me. And that's what you're doing, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking all these really good questions.
No, I'm not finished. I'm not finished. So anyway, so you're telling me, so that you blew up then, and I saw the 7 million, because that's even on LinkedIn now.
Oh yeah, so I made a
So
LinkedIn account.
What kid? Yes.
Yeah, right before
That's
I
on
performed
LinkedIn.
at
That's what I
Tokyo
said.
American Club. I was
LinkedIn.
like, oh,
Bingo.
I need
And you
to-
put practicing at the Tokyo American Club, and that's starting to hit it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going, wow.
No, it's because you started commenting on it or something, and that's why
Right.
your followers saw it, and then
Yeah.
it's nice.
Happening. No, your stuff is going up. And you never stop. Is this something you can't expect? I'm just asking this question now. As an entertainer, there's never a time when you can stop. Am I right?
There's never a time when you can stop. What do you mean? Like,
Promoting or being there. When you come outside, you have to be on stage.
when I walk outside? What do
Yes,
you
I mean, once you come out your house,
Yeah.
the only free time you have is in your home. That's what I'm assuming. You have to be prepared for someone coming up and maybe knowing you or whatever.
It's not annoying. I love it when people
No, I
recognize.
didn't say annoying. I
yeah.
said you have to know people knowing you.
Annoying. Oh,
Knowing, not annoying. Knowing you. I'm sorry, that's my black English.
Since I was really young, wherever I go, people are constantly looking at me because I look different. My hair used to be like puffy like Minnie Mouse, and my skin color is different, and so I'm used to people constantly staring at me. And when I was young, I was really stressed out by it, and I was like, why is everyone always looking at me?
Now,
And I was
what's
like,
young?
I don't know. It's very young, just a kid.
Okay.
And so I'd come home and I'd say, Mom, why is everybody looking at me? And I was just very stressed out. Everywhere I go, everyone's always looking at me. And she goes, baby, it's because you're beautiful. And I was like, oh, is that right? And since then, I have zero stress with people looking at me. I'm like,
look, baby. As a matter of fact, you probably feel a little different when you go to the States because everyone looks at you and say, well, nobody's looking at me here.
yes, exactly.
That's happened
yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
Here you're someone, there you're
Yeah.
not. What I used to do with my sons is this. They come up here and I'd say,
Yeah.
who do you love more than anybody else in the whole wide world? Like Lewis said, if you saw his podcast,
Yeah.
and I taught them to say this, I'd have parents come up and they'd say, ask my kids to come up and ask them who they love more than anyone else in the whole wide world. And their answer always was themselves. And the reason why I told them to say that, and that's just as soon as they start understanding, is because dad can lose his mind, mother can lose their mind. You've got to learn to love you. And after that, then it should be your family. Your best friends are your brothers, your mother and your father. But you've got to love you more than anyone else.
Self-love.
Before anything else. That's the first thing. And not being a narcissist or anything like that. You've got to look
Just a
inside
healthy
first.
love.
Because how many people do you know can actually look in the mirror and tell themselves they love themselves? Most people aren't willing to do that.
You're right.
Because they know everything about themselves. I asked my 94-year-old mother, can you look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself? And she said, no. And I don't even get into it. But see, you're lucky because you came up in a time when there's more information. It's not what happened to you, it's what happened to your parents. Your mother is really phenomenal to be able to say that.
Yeah.
So you have to find out what happened to her to make her flip. She could have gone the other way very easily.
Very easily.
But she looked at you and said, no, no, baby. I told my sons, I used to say this. I'd say, why are you so handsome? I'd say to my sons. And their answer was, because my mother's beautiful and my father's handsome.
I
And
love
I
that.
teach that to all kids.
Oh, that's
I always say,
so
any little kid, I say, why are you
beautiful.
so beautiful? Even if they're adopted, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Why are you so handsome? Or why are you so beautiful? Because my mommy's beautiful and my daddy's handsome.
I love
Let's always say
that.
These little things that you can say to each other, to your kids and stuff, adds so much depth to yourself. It makes you understand this is a journey all of us are on.
Yeah.
If you can hear this, you're on that journey. It's not the destination, it's the same for all of us. We're all going to die. That's the destination. But on the way there, let's party! Let's have a good time, and do something.
Yes.
Right? You got to do this anyway, so why not enjoy it while you're doing it?
Thank you for saying that. I love what you just said. Yeah, I feel that way constantly.
That's beautiful.
So
You did that.
it's really nice to hear that in words.
Are you close with your mom?
I'm very close with my mom.
Do you
She's
see
an
her regularly?
angel. Yeah.
She's here in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay, and you see your father lives in the States now?
Yes, he lives in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Georgia. Is that where he was born and raised?
He's from New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Going to Georgia. But I can understand going to the South too, because it is so progressive now. Because they suffered through so much.
Yeah.
No, the people there, Atlanta, Georgia, all those areas, they're seriously on the upside.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah. The States for me as a whole isn't a place I'm
Where,
interested in.
I'm sorry, where
I'm from
are you?
California.
Where
Los Angeles.
No way.
Yeah, I'm from La La Land. If you could go back in time,
Okay.
knowing what you know right now,
Okay.
and see the younger Aisha,
Okay.
what advice would you give her, and what age would she be?
When I was a little girl, I was very insanely confident, and I knew that I would be a singer anyway, so I was never really scared. I thought I was an amazing singer. I thought I was great, you know, and I had people to guide me, and so, but after I released my album, and while I was touring or performing and work-wise, I was getting all these amazing achievements, like working with Disney, working with Zumba, you know, having all these major commercial deals, and like, it was great. But during my personal life, when I'd go through like a heartbreak or when I'd lose a best friend or stuff like that, I felt like it was the end of the world. I couldn't move, I couldn't get out of my bed, I couldn't even go to work, and I was just absolutely broken, and I felt like I was gonna die. But to her, I want to tell her it's not the end of the world. Like, you're gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay, and you think you're gonna die now, but there's so much waiting ahead for you, and this life is amazing. Just look forward to it.
Couldn't end on a better note.
Oh,
Aisha, thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you so
That's
much.
Wonderful. 200 episodes. You just got to see Aisha give you some of her life. I want to thank all of you for watching this podcast. Make sure you press like and subscribe. And always remember, it's all on loan, so continue to reach for the stars because you're too blessed to be stressed.